I don't like a box. Like I feel like it's one thing I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, uh, we're all gonna be in a box eventually.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
I have plenty of time to be in that box. So right now, I want to
Wow.
not be in a box. You know what I mean? If I can avoid the box, I'm gonna avoid it for as long as I can.
What's up, change makers? Welcome to another episode of JLD Storytellers, where we share inspiring stories of young men of color in our community. Let's get into it. What's up? My name is Dia Nyarko, and I am the co founder and executive director for JLD Community Solutions, a nonprofit and organization started by my mom and I in honor of my brother, Johnny Leroy Lely Dawkins Jr., who lost his life to gun violence. It is our mission to empower young men of color through providing scholarships and leadership development and equipping them with the tools and resources needed to succeed, all while promoting community safety and engagement. We have another wonderful episode for you today. And before we jump into it, I'm going to bring to the stage my amazing co host, Mr. Kakaro Coco Smith. Woo, woo, woo. How are you doing today, Coco?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be back for another episode. I think today is going to be amazing to let the people know about this young man that we have today. I'm ready to learn some more. I don't know about you, but
Yes.
I don't really know much about him, but he's everywhere. So I want to
Yeah.
know more about him. And I'm anxious to see what he's going to share today.
I'm right there with you. I think that we should just jump right into it.
Yeah.
What do you
Okay.
think?
All right. So you want me to introduce him?
Yes, please.
Okay, so today we have Kenrick Jobe. He wants to be categorized as a visual artist. I've seen his work. I'm sure many of you have. He's known locally for his paintings and stuff he's done for the community, but he's also done some work globally. I've seen him done some work for like the baby. He did a painting for the baby.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, he's an amazing. So without any more hesitation, we have Kendrick Jobe.
Woo, woo, woo.
How y'all doing?
Welcome,
Doing
man.
great. How are you doing, Kendrick?
I'm fantastic. I feel good to be in the company of such amazing people like you two.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you, life is so interesting in full circle because I know I had a chance to meet your dad like a couple of years ago at a city council meeting, and he told me about you, and then a couple of years later, because I forgot to get in touch with you at the time, and then I saw a article about you, and it was like light bulb, reach back out to this young man. So I'm so excited that we get the chance today to connect. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I think it's great that you were able to connect because better late than never. That's how I
Hmm.
feel about everything I'm doing right now. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coco, hey, do we have any icebreaker question? Anything we want to start off with?
Um, Before we get into like the questions, tell us something that a lot of people wouldn't know about you.
Mm.
hmm. Uh I would say a lot of people don't know that I am uh hmm. That's stumbling me a little bit. That stumped me a little bit. I would say a lot of people don't know that I am ashamed for some of the things that I used to say and do to people in my community.
Hmm.
I don't think that's something that I've like publicly said to anyone.
Hmm,
So
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
That is very interesting.
We might
Yeah.
have to revisit that at the
Okay. Okay.
so dear, I think we should share something about ourselves.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I can go first.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people know how big I am into religion. Um,
Mm.
you know, from what the eye may see, sometimes they might just think just I'm an urban guy into music, into the school, but I'm really big into religion. Like I study religion a lot. Like every religion, I try to see the connection between all of them. I try to see the differences, and I'm on a spiritual journey myself, just trying to see where I align. I don't know if a lot of
Mm.
people know that, but I try to shed it as much as I can.
Mm.
Well, I would say then along that same kind of vein, I don't think that people know because I actually am known more so to be a spiritual person and to be, um, you know, a Christian and all that kind of stuff. I don't think a lot of people know the struggle I've had on my spiritual journey, especially over the last couple of years. Um, I've had some moments where I felt like I just wanted to leave my faith altogether. Then I've had moments where I was just like, okay, that that just don't sit well with me because I feel disconnected from life. And then, but right now, I feel like I'm in a place where in my spiritual journey that I am getting a closer relationship to God that is different because it's not as a result of growing up as a Christian or my mom being a Christian. It's more so strictly because in my own adulthood, I've figured out that I need Jesus. I need God to be the best version of myself. But I have stepped away from actually attending a church right now. Not because I don't believe in church or anything like that, but it's just where he has me right now. It's just really hearing him. And I've been in church my entire life. And so finally I'm at a place where it's just kind of like taking a step back and just being able to hear him for once in my life. And but I know that he's going to bring me back to church. I'm just at a
Mhm.
place where I'm not at a actual church right now. So
I got you.
All right.
well, guys, that was pretty deep getting started.
Right.
Jeez, I'm excited to get going in this conversation. So, listen, Cook, I'll let you go right on into it.
All right. So Kendrick, first we want to know if you would have to express the type of artist you are in one word, what would you use?
I would, I would say unpredictable.
Mm,
Can you give us some more on that?
Well, I would use the word unpredictable because uh, I'll wake up and feel completely different than how I felt when I went to sleep, and I think that
mm,
affects my work a lot. You know,
mm,
so like I look back at some pieces that I've done, and it was because I was angry at the time, uh, and now I realize like I would do it completely different, even though it was just maybe 4 or 5 months ago. You know what I mean? So I uh, I realized like even I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. So I know a lot of other people that anyone who's paying attention probably looks at it like, wow, he does all kinds of stuff because you know what I mean. There's no particular lane that I keep myself in.
I know sometimes I see you on Main Street. What's the motivation behind that?
Oh, we live in a really cool area. I realize,
mm,
and I when I was younger, I didn't really see it for what it is, but I think I'm starting to see it more. So the purpose behind me going uptown and working in public is just wanting to see the people more, connect with the community a little bit more. Like I think I've been able to see some kids that'll walk by or be with their parents. A lot of people will stop their car and uh, there'll be a kid that's like, "Oh, mom, I want to stop and see what it is that he's painting or whatever." So it's really just about the community. Like
mhm.
uh, social media is only a small fraction. There's a lot of people I realize they're not on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So it's just about connecting with more people.
Okay. What inspired you to pursue your passion in making art?
Well, I always did it. I think one thing that really put me in a more serious uh, point of view when it comes to it is I went and I saw this woman named Marilyn Taylor, and Marilyn gave me a test here in Lexington, uh, and it was like a cognitive test. So it was about uh it gave me like over 100 different questions about just all kinds of random stuff, and I was supposed to just answer it truthfully, like how I would what do I prefer, like science or whatever. It was just all kinds of questions. And when she got the results, uh she basically said like she had never seen something like that before. Like I was really, I think it was right side brained, where it's like I'm I'm all artistic. Like that's what I'm
Mm.
about. It's like the art.
Wow.
And she was saying like, a lot of people, they tend to have like, everyone leans a certain way, but like they might share that this way and then like another way. But me, I was all this one way. You know what I mean? So when I took that test and I got the results and she talked to me, I was like, oh wow, I should really pursue this like as a career. So I always loved it. It was always something I uh, wanted to do, but there was a point in time when people were kind of telling me it wasn't realistic to do it as a job.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I let that kind of get in my brain a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, I love Central American Hispanic culture and stuff like that. Maybe I can go into international studies or something. But yeah, I realized I was supposed to do what it is I'm doing for sure.
Wow.
Great question.
Thank you.
I'm have a couple of follow-up thoughts because one, it's so interesting to me when you said that you figured out that art should be what you pursue, but then people were telling you like, oh, maybe that's not a realistic job. So you're like, well, let me go do this other thing. But you came to the understanding because I remember myself because I love acting. I've always loved acting, and I went to school. And at first, I thought I was going to go for acting. But then I decided, wait a minute, but what if I get out and I don't become like a movie star?
Mm.
And what am I going to do? I'm going to like end up, just teaching art, like, or acting. So then I was like, well, let me do the practical thing and just go into banking. And so I'm like, but I wonder if I would have allowed myself to go down the road of the passion that was inside of me, like where would we be today? Just a thought. When you said that, it was just a thought. And you also mentioned how like you you can wake up, you can have one emotion one day and then like the next day it's just like a completely different emotion. And I'm wondering, when you are going about your process of creating art, like what does that typically look like for you? This wasn't one of our questions, but it just sparked this question in my head, like what does it look like for you when you are going to that canvas and starting to create art?
Well, it's interesting. I'm drawing a lot from life now.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that I meet, uh, especially in the community right here, that's really what's inspiring where I'm going, and I'm kind of just letting God lead me now with what it is that I'm doing. So like currently, I'm surrounded by canvases. I
Mm-hmm.
got paintings
Mm-hmm.
to the left and then to the right of me. Some pieces might offend some people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, other pieces I know for a fact most people are gonna be like, "Oh wow, that's beautiful." You know what I mean? Like, that's nice. So it's just it. I like to. I don't like a box. Like I feel
Gotcha.
like it's one thing I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, uh, we're all gonna be in a box eventually.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
I have plenty of time to be in that box. So right now, I want to
Wow.
not be in a box. You know what I mean? If I can avoid the box, I'm gonna avoid it for as long as I can. So that's what I'm on now. Like my grandma was a big inspiration for me. My mom's dad, and I lost her not too long ago. So like I think that's a big thing, and then just death in general, like it'll humble you in a way that's like uh hard to describe. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
now I'm like some of the petty stuff I used to hold on to and whatnot. It's like, man, life is so short. I can't be doing that. You know what I mean? Not with the
Mm-hmm.
time that I got. Who knows how much longer we got? You know what I mean? So it's like
Mm.
I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I got, and what I have is the art. So I'm gonna that's what, even if I gotta be broke for a little while and not really have a lot of funding, you know, I think it's worth it.
Whew. It's interesting you brought up this topic of death, not to get, morbid, but I recently, last night actually, we were watching, we saw this lady on YouTube who she's a death doula. Never heard of that in my life. I've heard of like doulas for giving birth, but she's
Wow.
a death doula and she helps people in their process of dying. But
Mhm.
she was saying that what she's learned from people on their deathbed, when as it pertains to life. And she was like, we should all live our life as if we understand that there is an expiration. So live it, live every day, live every moment fully. And when she was talking about that, like it inspired so much in me because we can hold ourselves back as if we have this infinite amount of time. Like, oh, well, I'll try it. Well, not today or what, but we don't. But what if we just allowed in, like, without in any inhibition, if that's the right word I'm trying to say, we realize that there's a finality to this life. So every moment, every day we get, just live it fully as much as you can. So we all are going to be in a box. So I'm not going to live in one. Man.
That was a quote. That was I. You might want to step that.
Mhm.
Even if you might want to put that as a title to one of your pieces.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I hope that gave you some kind of motivation for one of your pieces because that quote right there was very impactful. When people watch this, they're gonna say, "Wow."
Hmm. Yeah. You might want to go on and trademark that one because that's
Yeah.
yours, girl. That's yours.
Gotcha.
Woo,
Yeah.
that was good. I got all off my questions here. So Um, okay, this is a good one. So, you mentioned that you grew up, or you were born in Jersey. You came to Lexington, North Carolina, around about 12. So, I'm wondering how has the two worlds inspired, your art coming from Jersey down to the South? How has that
It's
inspired your
everything.
art?
It's everything. I'm not who I am without Lexington. So even though people might look at it and be like, "Oh, he's not really from here," it's like I'm not who I am without it. So it's I've been here most of my life. So it's like, uh, and I spend a lot of time by myself in my room. So a lot of people might feel like they don't really know me very well. I haven't seen me too many times, but like I've been here for quite some time, and it's like, uh, it that's what drives me in a lot of different ways. The people that I've met, you know, I pay attention to other people like a Jarrell. He might not realize it, but I pay attention. I watch Jarrell. You know, someone else that I've been watching uh for quite some time too is Coco. You know, I heard a little bit of his story, and I remember some of the stuff that he used to do a couple years ago. And I know I don't know him from when we were younger, but I realize there's certain people in the community that you can't really say much about them negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like they're stamped, even though they're not that old. You know what I mean? So it's certain people I pay attention to them, and I kind of take mental notes. Like it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I want to be like, I want to do that. Like I want to take that characteristic and add it to what it is that I'm doing. Um, who else? There's quite a few different women in the area too. Sandra Snyder. She's a woman that I look up to quite a bit. I knew her husband Jimmy Snyder that went to Lexington, and he, that family, the Lancaster, uh, Garrett Holloway. Garrett Holloway is another one. Uh,
Yes.
Someone that I've been watching for quite some time, and I see what he's doing. So it's like I might have thought at one point I was special, but like there's a lot of special people out here. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to be a part of it,
Mm,
and it inspires what it is that I'm doing.
that's awesome. And you are special. Yeah, we I will say that I feel like there's a lot of talent in Lexington. I think there is a lot of untapped talent in Lexington. And,
Yes,
that's one of the
yes.
reasons why I love opportunities like this because, like you said, you can see somebody, you can have known somebody in passing, but there's something special when you actually take a minute to listen to them and hear their story that just, it can change everything.
Yeah.
So,
And to piggyback off what you said, man, I pay attention to you too. And you might not know it, but I take a lot of your defense mechanisms. Like you're not afraid to have the conversations that others don't want to have.
mhm.
You you sometimes force the agenda of speaking on what needs to be said. And that takes a leader. That shows leadership in you, whether you know it or not. So I pay attention too. Like sometimes you might make a post and it might start some emotions to come out, but it's conversations that we need to have. And I'm sitting back like, well, I wanted to say that, but he said it, so I don't have to say it anymore. But don't think that you're not special because you see the special in others. We
Mm.
all are special. It's just like we have to tap into being who we are supposed to be. And like I say, every time we have one of these conversations, I give people their flowers. So that was just my moment of giving you your flowers as well.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, the next question I have for you is what have some of the most major challenges? Well, kind of going off of what we just talked about and how you are really willing to talk about things and to address things that, might be a little bit sensitive, could
Mm.
be controversial. So I'm wondering, what are some of the most major challenges that you have faced along your journey in becoming an artist? And how have you found the courage and the motivation to keep going?
I think that's a great question. I think forgiving myself has been a big part of like my growth as an
Mm,
artist. Forgiving myself for some of the things I used to do and how I used to be. I think the more you're in touch with yourself, the better your art will be. So like I feel
mm,
like I'm a lot better now because God's kind of allowed me to grow more. You know what I mean? Like I'm humble more. Like, I've been humble more. Like uh I'm not thinking as negatively as I used to. And I think because of that, I've been allowed to grow more as an artist. So
mhm,
I feel like it was a lot harder to harbor bad feelings towards people, and that held me back. So now that I'm learning to let go of a lot more, it's helping me grow in a positive, more like impactful way.
mhm,
So that's what I'm on now. Like I wouldn't say I'm like a monk. There's still certain things that I'm holding on to from childhood, but I'm starting to learn how to let go. So that I think that's part of it. It might not to some people it might sound like it has nothing to do with art, but I realize how deep it goes. Like it's about, you know, when you're not harboring those nasty feelings towards people,
mhm,
it gives you the energy to
mhm,
figure out where you want that pen to go. If that makes any sense. Like I almost feel
mhm,
like musicians, they, if you're harboring onto those negative feelings towards people, if doing certain things like that, your pen isn't going to be as strong because you're thinking about it's taking up too much space in your mind and in your body. So it's like I think it's all connected.
God, that is so true.
It is. It's definitely true. I have a battle coming up, right? But I'm on this positive journey, and I can't sit down and write battle bars to break down my opponent because I'm in a positive space. So it's hard for me to sit down and try to think of something negative about someone when I'm trying to reach the highest
Right.
level of positive in my life. So I
Right.
completely understand where you're coming from.
Hmm.
It's hard, but if this is the journey that I want to be on, I have to be aligned with being positive. So
Right. Right.
I completely understand what you're saying.
What's up, changemakers? Let me keep it real with you for a second. Growing up as a young black man, I know firsthand how hard it can be to navigate a world that doesn't always see your potential. Did you know that nationally, for every dollar invested in youth programs, only 10 cents goes to programs specifically for young men of color? 10 cents, despite the disproportionate need. In Lexington, we're striving to change this statistic. JLD Community Solutions is breaking this cycle through providing scholarships and leadership development, focusing on crucial topics such as financial literacy and vital life skills, proven tools to break cycles of poverty and violence. Over 30 young men have already been lifted up by this work, and over $25,000 in scholarships awarded to help with college expenses. That's what happens when we invest in our own. But here's the thing, we can't do this alone. With resources shrinking, these young kings need us now more than ever. For just $15 a month, less than what most of us spend on coffee or streaming services, you can help make sure these programs don't just survive, but thrive. Your $15 could be the difference between a young man giving up or stepping into his greatness. Join me today as a monthly partner with JLD Community Solutions. Let's show these young men we see them, believe in them, and are here to help them win. Visit our website and sign up now because their future can't wait.
Yeah.
It really makes me think about the whole, notion of forgiveness, because people say forgiveness is for yourself. It's not necessarily for the person you're forgiving, it's for you. Because when you are giving them all of this real estate inside, holding on to whatever the thing is, then you can't be your freest self. You just cannot walk in your full freedom when you're
I
holding on
used
to
to be
those
I
things.
used to hear that and it used to not make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like why do people say that? Like what do you mean this forgiveness? Like what is that? Like why would I,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like but this person did that to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like what do you mean? Now I'm starting to see like now I get it. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
it took time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm 30 now. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if I'm
You
still
so
thinking the same
old.
way
No,
I
I'm
did at
kidding.
16, like it's we gotta grow. We gotta grow. If
That's
we're not
right.
growing, what are we doing? You know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
what are we
That's it.
doing? Hmm.
Listen, I'll be 41 years old, 41 years old this year. And in these
Wow.
41 years, Lord knows I have learned a lot. So
Yes.
I understand. Sometimes, like your mama and your grandma used to say, just keep on living, baby. Keep on living. I'm like,
Mhm.
I see now. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it.
So, Kendrick, recently you posted about the importance of inspiring the youth and even shared an experience being removed from an establishment, speaking up about the lack of opportunities for Black and Brown youth in art community. Can you speak on that? Can you tell us more about what happened in that situation? Share what you want the people to know about what happened and give us some more details.
Yes. I couldn't wait to say something like mention this because I know both of you understand the importance of giving back and the youth.
Hmm.
The way the youth reacts to both of you, like I realized like I'm like that's what's really important because we're aging out. Like that's just the reality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's the reality. So it's like if you're not giving back and really trying to like make a difference, I kind of gotta question what's the motive. You know what I mean? Like what
Hmm.
is I feel like there's not much room outside of that for it to be like positive. So it's like uh I was part of a organization, a nonprofit organization that has done so much good in the area, but I just realized in the climate, the political climate that we're in, just in general, there's so much need in our youth for alternative uh, ways to express themselves. And not all of our youth have the tools, the support at home to do that. And one thing I realize is there's so many people that are just like literally scared of us, like
Mm.
just because of like what we look like,
Mm-hmm.
which is like so incredible. So, and like now I'm older and I see it even more. So it's like, uh, and I'm not scared. Clearly, I'm not scared. So like I'm so like I'm ready to go and meet them where they're at, go and see where they are, and it's not even about church. Like they don't have to come to church, but just to have a space that they feel safe in. Because sometimes school and the other spaces that they're in is the only places that they really feel safe in. Home isn't a safe space. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like if you're considering that, there's a lot of kids like that, and I'm not even just talking about kids of color. There's white kids too out there that so underprivileged. So it's like if we really wanna bring up the community and society in general, those are the kind of people we have to look out for. And I made a post really about the need for that in our area because I had already met with them several times, sidebar, without going
Mm-hmm.
public about it.
Mm.
Because I understand it's not the best look to be outing people and posting screenshots and stuff like that. I get it. But at the same time, I don't really care
Mm-hmm.
because these kids are going to bed and going to
Mm-hmm.
school hungry, you know, uh, and you guys are worried about your public image.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? I understand, but I don't really care. So it's like it's gotten to the point where I'm like, if God forbid tomorrow that was it for me, I want people to know like this is where I stood on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
went to school with these kids too, and even though like God blessed me with parents that was able to provide for me, I understand that most of these kids that I was going to school with did not have that. In fact, they had the opposite, a lot of them. So if I can be uh, a light in their life, that's what it is that I want to be, as opposed to just some public figure that's like smiling in a picture and not really
Mm-hmm.
doing shit for people. You know what I mean? Excuse my language. It's just like I get passionate about this because
Mm-hmm.
we don't have all the time in the world. Like you know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So it's like I want to do something as opposed to just talking all the time. So that's what the post was really about, and it kind of got me in trouble. But it is what it is. you know
I don't think it got you in trouble. I think it gave you more of a a spotlight that you wanted in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know you for the paintings, we know you for like being an artist. But now I'm seeing you as an activist. I'm seeing you as a
Yes.
leader. I'm seeing you
Mm-hmm.
as someone who's going to be on the front line for difference, for change. So whatever trouble you might got from that is going to be rewarding in the end. That's how I'm seeing it. Like I'm
Yep.
glad you did it because you said you had the sidebars, you spoke to them, they didn't respond or they didn't give you what you were looking for or seem to care. So like you said, you had to speak up. You had to. Because I think if you didn't, your conscience would have ate you alive.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Ooh. Ooh. Yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
I was just looking for this quote that I saw the other day from Paul Robeson, and he said, "The answer to injustice is not to silence the critic, but to end the injustice." And it's like, for a lot of us, we just want to do something, and then, and we just want to make sure that, at least, the people that don't like what we said, the people that's not going to like, that just, okay, let's just make them quiet, let's appease them, let's just be quiet. But no, that's not the point. Like you said, like, I don't care now, because the point is, I don't care to silence anybody who's going to critic me. That's not the point of what I'm doing. The point of what I'm doing is so that we can stop the injustice. So if that means that somebody's going to critique me or be mad at me, okay, fine. But sometimes it's necessary. It's just necessary.
Thanks.
So, like he said, activists, I love it. And we've had some amazing ones in our time that came before us. And it takes us to come up behind them and to continue to push forward. So good for you, brother.
Yes. So who is your favorite artist and why?
It changes.
Okay.
I would say currently, and it's gonna sound a little cliche. Currently, I would say Denzel Washington.
I don't think that's cliche at all. I wouldn't have even thought you were going in that direction. So yeah, why?
I look at his just, how like sometimes you'll meet an artist or listen to an interview and it's like, nah, this guy is not who I thought he was. You know what I mean? Like, or you might listen to him and just be like, man, this guy's not about nothing. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, he just talking about whatever. Denzel Washington, that guy, like, I watched this movie called Glory, and it's one of his older movies. It was about the Civil War, and this dude, man, or was it the Revolutionary? It was the Revolutionary War. This guy was something else. And then when you listen to his interview, it's he goes so deep into the art that you can tell it's very personal. Every role, one of my favorite movies, and it's gonna sound cliche again, but I love Training Day. Training Day is like one of my favorite movies because when I go back and I watch it, like, it's like this dude is like a completely different guy from what he actually is in the film. You know what I mean? But like then you see like certain parts of his character, like his own kind of character, come out in like certain parts. So like I just love how he was able to embody like a completely different person in so many different roles. Like he's not scared to be on Broadway, like do some kind of like, Renaissance kind of thing. He's not scared to, he's not scared to gain some weight for a role. You know what I mean? He's not afraid to wear one of the robes. You know what I mean? A robe for a role or whatever. So it's just like whatever it is really he needs to do. He still has his morals, but when it comes, the art comes first, and I think that's something that's like so cool to watch coming up. Like it's like, I know one day he's not going to be around, and I hate to bring up death so much, but it's just one of those things. Sometimes I think about it, and it's like, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? And I think that guy is like the epitome of, as a black man, that's how I want to be. That's how I want to go out, like that. If I could be like that guy, that's cool, to me.
Yeah, I seen an interview where he says, I forgot what movie it was. I think it was the one where he was playing a blind guy. What was it? Book of Eli.
Oh.
And he was saying for like months he would just lock himself in a dark room and just he had to become blind, like really. So when I seen that, I went back and watched the movie, And it made me really think like this guy is really blind. Like he really embodies the character. Like he will sometimes like sit down and like really just become exactly who he is in that moment. And
Man, this guy is so incredible. He will make his co-stars better.
yep,
Like he in that same movie, Book of Eli, Mila Kunis. That's his like co-star. She
mhm,
was in the '70s show. Man, her role was great. And I feel like I'm willing to bet you I can speak for her. She learned a lot from that guy, just
had
being
to.
you know what I mean, like doing the role with her. So I'm just like, man,
Mm.
if you can make other people better, you know what I mean? Like
Wow.
that's when you really him. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
him, you him or her. So yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. You're right. That's a word right there. Like when you can walk in a room and make other people
Yeah.
better, you
You like that.
yeah, that's it. um, let's see here. Can you share, speaking of being a person that can make people better, is there a specific moment or project that made you feel proud?
A project that made me feel proud. I would say I did this piece for Shy Tuttle. And Shy Tuttle is a local star, at least to me.
Mhm,
He went and he's still playing in the NFL. Uh, this dude is a real baller, like big guy, um, but walks and handles himself with class. Like you
mhm,
can tell there was never any like real controversy about him. Like, dude is just ball. So when we were able to like he commissioned me to do artwork, so he paid me to do something
mm,
for him, and it was basically artwork of him at North Davison, and then at Tennessee, and then at what was the team? I think it was the Saints. So now he's a Panther. So it's like when I just think it's super dope to sit down on football, for a football game and look at the TV and be like, that guy right there, you know what I mean? Like has a custom piece, like that's something I could put on my resume. Like that's the kind of stuff I like to brag about because he's local, you know what I mean? And I think I used to look at it and be like, nah, that's kind of, I want to go to Los Angeles or Chicago or something like that. Nah, I think where you're at, where you came up, for the most part, I think that's where it's really cool. Like that's where you can, to bring up the place where you're at. Okay, if you thought something was lame or, not up to par, make it better. Don't
yeah.
leave. Don't leave because then the people that are younger than you, they're gonna do the same thing. Like nothing's gonna change. So it's like, don't leave, make it better.
Yeah.
You can always go visit South Beach. Like you can always go visit New York and stuff like that. But it's like, I might have been born in New Jersey, but it's like when I go to Jersey now, I don't recognize it. Like
Mm,
like I'm not from Jersey in my heart. Like when people ask me where I'm from North Carolina. Like that's just what it is. So it's like that's what I want to make better because that's where I'm at. That's where I've been
mhm.
at. So yeah, if that answers the question.
It does. And I don't want to take away, or at least I want to, go back to something you mentioned earlier when you were talking about when Coco asked you about being downtown and how you were saying it's about the community. It's about, putting myself in the midst of my community. And I think that that's one thing that is important for us, especially in this day and time where it's so easy to be disconnected from community. Because we can do all the things. We can be online, we can be on social media, but you say, having a mindset like that is like, I want to be amongst my community because it helps me to even be better and to make an impact even better. So I love that.
Mhm.
Um, how do you see your art evolving over the next few years? And are there any new mediums or themes that you want to explore? And I'm gonna throw in there because AI is big. How do you see AI fitting into, your realm of art, maybe?
Well, one thing I definitely want to do, I want to tap in with this Lexington City schools more.
Mm-hmm.
the middle school and high school to be specific, but I mean I'm also talking about the elementary schools. Like go talk to the kids when they're real young, and
Yeah.
just show them, hey, you could do this too. Uh, I think I think it's important. Pick it, although all those different schools that have had an impact on kids. Like I want to be able to go and let them know, hey, I'm here, I'm in this area, and this is what I'm doing, and you could do it too. I think that's what I want to do more of. AI, I don't really know exactly how to how to really speak on that because within a short amount of time I've seen it grow so much. So
Yep.
it's uh I don't really know exactly how to wrap my brain around it. I've seen some things that are like, oh wow, that's really interesting, and it made me smile. And then I saw other things where I'm just like, yo, like that's way out of pocket. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, like that's dangerous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, they put your face on something that look crazy, like you
Mm-hmm.
doing something or saying something to someone
Mm-hmm.
and it looked crazy. How can a lot of people tell what's real or not?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a weird space to be in. If somebody wants to sabotage you, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a lot easier to do that now. So it's with that kind of technology. So and everyone has access to it. So
Yep.
it's like, I realize not everyone is in the positive space.
Yep.
There's some people that are trying to ruin the city schools. There's some people that are trying to ruin, what's going on. That's going well. So it's like there's got to be people actively pushing against that.
That's right.
And I think AI is like it's hit or miss right now. Like I don't really know. I realize it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Chat GPT and all this different stuff that's happening is I can't imagine what that's like in school
I
to have
know.
that in school. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like English
Yeah.
class and stuff like that. Like if it was me in English class, like I might ask Chat GPT, how do I do my homework? You know what I mean? Like that might happen. So
It's
and
happening. It
that's
is
not
happening.
good. What was that?
I said it is happening, and that's
I
Mhm.
why, like,
know it. I know it.
even in everything, I teach Adobe, and
Oh.
so now in Photoshop, you can
Mhm.
say, make me a poster with this animal doing this
Wow.
with this scene, and it'll create it for you. So my way to go around it, they have to submit the Photoshop file. So that way I can see the
Mm.
layers. I can see their work.
Oh, I
I got you. I
see.
got you.
So if
Yeah,
they just
Ah,
yeah.
if they
smart.
just
Yeah.
right,
Oh.
if they just submit a picture, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
If they submit me the file, I can see actual layers.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
The work, the real work they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
But in English, if you don't have the programs, you won't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fully transparent, I'm in college and I just asked Chat GTP to cite something for me, APA style.
Mm-hmm.
It did it.
I mean, you have to be careful because sometimes it will steer you astray. It will tell you something is straight true and it ain't true. But but 9 times out of 10, it'll help you. It'll get you
Wow.
right now.
Now
I'm still
on that note,
learning.
yeah,
I'm
it'll mess you up, man, because it's so easy, and that's what the world has come to. Like, we have drive-through car washes, we got everything is we got DoorDash, we got it. We don't have to work anymore.
Nope.
So these kids are, oh, I just use Chat GTP, but they're not obtaining the knowledge.
mm,
And that's why we need people like Kendrick
Yes.
to come into my classroom and say, hey, it's okay to still be creative. It's okay
Yes.
to use your brain.
right,
You don't want AI to do it for you.
That's it.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So that leads to my question. I got two parts. It's a two-part question, Kendrick.
Mm,
One, let's just create a scenario, right? So let's say you come into my classroom. What advice would you give to the youth to like what advice would you give them as far as like being an artist or being, you know, what advice would you give them? That's part one. And part two, when can you come to my classroom?
Okay. Uh, I'll answer the second question. Whenever we both can make it happen,
Okay.
I'd show up. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm there.
Okay.
I'd love to. And then I need a picture with you at the end. But to
Sweet.
answer your first question, I would say the advice I would give them is, and yeah, I realized a lot of the most cliche statements were definitely true. Like, just stay true to you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You are enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say. You are enough. Uh, Regardless of who your parents are, what your parents have done, you know what I mean? That you're your own person
Mm-hmm.
and you have plenty of power and God loves you.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound like, Jehovah
Mm-hmm.
Witness or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, God loves you. So
Mm-hmm.
regardless of who you are and what you look like and what you can do, how tall you are, whatever, God loves you.
Mm-hmm.
So that if I was to give them advice, that would be what it is. I would say, and then I would also say everyone has a talent. Everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
You just you just might not know exactly what it is yet, but everyone has it. So my talent is the art, clearly. Yours might be music, yours might be dancing, yours might be film, yours might be poems, poetry, yours might be uh medicine. Some kids know about science and chemistry and robots,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, so um I would just say, whatever it is, there's always something. Some kids are really good at tap dancing, like, you know, different stuff like that. Like, you can tap into it. There's a world for you, you know, outside of a lot of the crap they might see on social media. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lane for you, for everyone, for every single person. So that's the advice I'll give.
See, we on spring break right now, but I'm taking notes as we're doing this, but I actually want to give my students the test that you was talking about to see where
Mm-hmm.
their how their brain works.
That's
Right.
good. Yeah.
Right.
Because one, that will help me teach them to know how to, structure my lesson plans, but also how to grab them. Like, hey, this group of students might be artists. These might be visual learners. I want to. If you could tell me the test, if you remember it, or I'll try to find it because I want to
No.
use something like that.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't know what the name of it is, but I know who it is that gave it to me, and she goes to my church.
Okay,
So at any given time, I can reach out to her and
please,
figure out,
please.
make that connection, because she helped me so much. Like, I was in a space where I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what it is I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I know I love this one thing, and she realized, she was able to really put me in the right direction. So I could get you that information.
Thank you. Yeah. Lastly,
Mhm.
we want to know how the community can reach you and support you.
Yes.
Well, I would say the community can reach me online mostly. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Discord, Substack, YouTube, and I have my own website, kenjobe.com.
Okay.
My number is 973-699-1183. Uh, I know that might sound crazy, but I don't mind anyone really calling me, as long as it's not like some crazy stuff. Uh, I want anyone to feel free to reach out to me, because I realize a lot of people just need someone to talk to, and uh, I'll be painting in silence a lot, so I don't mind if someone wants to just yap my head off. Like, you know what I mean? I'll
Mm-hmm.
paint while you're talking to me. I don't mind. Uh, and then how can they reach me? And what was the other question?
How can they support you?
How can they support me? Just keep sharing my content. I think that would be great. Keep liking my stuff. I think that's like the easiest but also most helpful way to really like help me get my name out more. I think supporting the community of Lexington, North Carolina would be big for me, because if you can help my community, you're helping me too. So donate to Lexington Senior High School. Donate to Davidson Davy Community College. Uh, Donate to Grace Church. Uh, uh, Help the mayor, Jason Hayes. Uh, just show love and support the community. I think that's the best way you could help me.
I got one more question for you. The recent events that happened to you, have you started a piece to capture that?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I got that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
You want to
coming.
see that soon, or you gonna keep that
Uh,
to yourself?
it's gonna be a while, because I try to be thorough with my pieces. So um it's it's gonna be detailed, and it might stir some stuff up, but all in good fun. It's you know me expressing myself.
Okay.
I love it. And hey, and people, they can catch you too during our Lexington Community Safety Awareness Block Party
Yeah.
that is coming up on Saturday, June the 7th.
Okay.
Mr. Jobe is going to be there. He's going to share his story. He's going to have some painting or what have you. So you guys can catch him out there too. I'll have that information down in the description box.
I can't wait.
And yeah. Any last words?
Thank you, both of you, for your time. Coco, I see what you're doing. So once again, thank you for being you. Dia, I think tapping in with you now, we're gonna do some great things. So I think we're relatively on the same page.
Yeah.
So we may not align all together with everything, but we're relatively on the same page. So I think we're gonna do some amazing stuff, especially this year.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely in the same neighborhood, brother. We is in the same neighborhood for sure. Listen, y'all, this has been an absolutely phenomenal discussion. So thank you, Kenrick. I am so thankful. In the words of Kenrick Jobe, I want y'all to know that one of these days we're going to be in a box. So don't you live your life in a box, okay? And I want to encourage you that you are enough, like it was said during this interview. And I also want to encourage you that if you have not done so already today, I want you to stop. Take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, stay blessed.